Hi, it's Becky Jones. Um, Pastor Matt had reached out to me and asked if I could share a testimony of a time that God helped me through an uncertain or difficult time. And most of you probably remember that 3 years ago, I was pregnant with my fifth baby to make it that far. And I was having a really smooth, uneventful pregnancy, no complications at all, until I went to my 5 month routine ultrasound. And at that time, my son was diagnosed with osteogenesis imperfecta, which is brittle bone disease. There's several different forms of it, but the form that he had is the one fatal form. It happens in about 1 out of every 30,000 babies. And after 4 healthy children, it was just something that wasn't even on my radar. I'd never even heard of that condition before. So my family and I were completely shocked and blindsided by this situation. I spent the remaining 3 months of my pregnancy going to many different doctor's appointments, meeting with different specialists, and ultimately none of them really had any answers for me as to why Malachi had this or what to expect with his delivery. And he came a month early, and even after 4 healthy, normal labors and deliveries, I had some life-threatening complications come up during his birth. And I almost died, and Malachi passed away after just 16 minutes. Um, I had an emergency C-section, and pretty much nothing went according to plan. Those of you who know me know that I am pretty type A, and that I like things to be planned and orderly, and that was just the complete opposite of that entire experience. And it was truly such a heartbreaking season for my family and me. And throughout that time, many people at our church, God used my church family, all of you, in such a huge way to keep my heart and my mind focused on God's promises during that time. And one phrase that was shared with me over and over again during that time that just, like I said, helped keep me focused on truth during a time when it would have been really easy to just panic, and it would have felt much more natural to just be in total despair. What was shared with me was the phrase, "We shouldn't look ahead and worry, but we need to look back and remember." And they were the people that shared that with me were talking about, like in the Old Testament, when the Lord reminded the Israelites time and time again of his faithfulness to them and how he had provided for them and protected them. So in times like this, which reminds me a lot of what I went through with Malachi, just how uncertain and how unpredictable this is, instead of looking to the future and worrying about things that we can't predict, we don't understand, no one can make any promises to us right now about when everything will return to normal. Instead of worrying about things like that we can't control, we need to look back and reflect continually on the Lord's goodness to us and his provision, because the same God that brought the Israelites out of Egypt and provided for them in the desert, that's the same God we have right now. He's not surprised by coronavirus. He wasn't surprised by Malachi's diagnosis or any of the events that led up to that or happened afterwards. He knew it all and was there for it all, and he's the only reason I'm still sitting here today. Um, he is everything to me, and I know that he will guide us through this time as well. So that would be my encouragement, to just continually reflect on how God has led you through other hard times in your life, and just remember that he's the same Heavenly Father then as he is now. And also, I just want to encourage you that I can say this now. I have a different perspective, being 2.5 years down the road from losing Malachi, that I can look back on that time and see how God was protecting me and working things out for his glory and my ultimate good. And I believe he's doing the same thing now, even in the midst of this hardship, because it is hard. It's not just the health scare. It's also financially a burden for many people. There's economic issues arising around the country, even just logistically, like, activities being canceled for the kids and trying to get to the store, and sometimes not being able to find what you need. There's so many things that are stressful right now. Um, but I really believe that years from now, we'll look back on this time and see how God was at work, and He will use this time for His glory. And so I just want you to know that my family and I are praying for all of you, for our church family, and we miss you very much, and we love you, and we can't wait to be together again soon.